Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Love to see everyone back here for another one. So this video is going to be a little bit interesting. And the reason why it's going to be interesting is because we're going to take a pause from our regular programming. And so as you know, we talk all things engineering, tech, and finances on this channel. But this one is going to be very different, guys, because I want to take a moment and just pause and let you all know that one of the things that have been on my mind, and also as well, it has affected me directly, is this recent disaster, natural disaster, if I might add, that occurred here. And where is here? Well, for those who are not familiar, I reside in Florida, the great state of Florida, in the United States of America. And if you're not familiar, Florida recently had not one, but two major hurricanes that just hit us. And it was pretty interesting because I've never experienced a natural disaster before. And so it was really eye-opening for me to see what a natural disaster is all about. Now, before we jump into the topic, of course, make sure you give me a like for the video as it helps the channel grow and more people can see our content. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos to the channel. And lastly, of course, share this with a family member or friend. I really appreciate you. Now, for those of you who don't know, around September 26, 2024, at around 11:25 p.m. at night, Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida, and it really did a lot of damage, especially on the west side of Florida. And for those who are not familiar, the west side of Florida is over in the Gulf side. So Florida is surrounded by the Atlantic side, which is the east side, all the way to the right of the state. And then, of course, the west side of the state, that's surrounded by the Gulf of Mexico. And so it came in through the Gulf of Mexico, and it went up as high as even Asheville, North Carolina. If I remember correctly, Asheville, North Carolina is about a little over 500 miles away from the west coast of Florida. And when I say the west coast of Florida, I'm talking about the Destin area, those places, which, by the way, has beautiful beaches if you've never been. That area got hit pretty hard. And when I say that area, I'm talking about the Tallahassee area. That's really where it actually got hit pretty hard. And it's just very interesting because from my perspective, I am located in Central Florida. And in Central Florida, we didn't really get the brunt of it. It was just more so of the rain and light winds, I would say, not really anything crazy. Now, shortly sometime afterwards, after that first hurricane, which, by the way, Florida did not really have too much of an opportunity to go ahead and clean up the mess and recover from that because, of course, shortly afterwards, on October 8th, around 6:30 p.m., you had another hurricane, and it was Hurricane Milton. That also hit landfall, and it was originally projected to be in the Tampa area. For those who don't know, that's also on the west side of Florida. And it didn't exactly hit Tampa. It actually hit a little bit south of there, over by the Sarasota area. That's really where it came in. But it came in very strong, and the reports were saying around a Category 3. But more importantly, the reason why I'm speaking about this one is it actually affected me because it went across the entire state. It went from the west side all the way to the east side into the Atlantic, and it hit Orlando, which is, of course, in Central Florida. Now, it died down from the Category 3 to, at some point, a Category 1, but we did sustain winds to a Category 2, and in some areas, the winds were, you had these gusts that were over 100 miles an hour, and I'll tell you guys, that was the most interesting thing that I've ever experienced. I've never experienced such powerful winds. I've never experienced all that rain. And of course, in Florida, because the grounds were saturated from the previous hurricane, the draining systems, they get clogged from debris and a whole bunch of factors that led to a lot of flooding in the area. I remember when we were weathering out the storm, and it was around 1 o'clock in the morning where I woke up to use the restroom. And it was quite interesting because I stood next to a window. The winds were so strong that you can actually feel the windows vibrating in a sense. Like they were actually moving with the amount of force that was being pushed on the windows. Now, we were staying at my sister-in-law's house, And she has a door in the back of her house that leads to the backyard. And it's a long door that opens up. It's a sliding door. And the door was actually flexing. You can feel the movement of the door because of all the powerful winds. It was actually pretty incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Now, fortunately for my immediate family, and also as well my extended family that was in the area, we did not sustain any major damages. There was slight little bit of damages between fences were destroyed. There was some tree branches that fell. In my development, as you're going into the development, there was a huge tree that was just ripped off from the ground. Now, we were fortunate that that tree didn't fall on any house. It basically just fell on the street itself. And that's something that clearly you can fix. But more importantly, nobody was hurt. Just a lot of damages and minor damages compared to other folks who were on the coast. Those people got hit really hard. But the other thing that I will say too is I've never experienced the aftermath of such a powerful storm. So if we take a look at some of the video that I was able to capture, I mean, it's incredible. We have millions of people that have lost power. So of course, when you lose power, over here in Florida, one of the main ways in which people are able to make their meals is, of course, using power, because we have electric stove here. Same thing if you want to warm something up in a microwave, that is also not available to you. You know, we have been without power for a couple of days. And as of the recording of this video, we just got power back a day ago. But for those couple of days, there was no power, of course, because it ripped through a lot of the power lines. And there was just a lot of debris everywhere. Transformers blew up during the night when the winds were howling, which all caused this major power loss. And so as people rebuild these power lines and they get power restored to each and every customer here in the state of Florida, you have those moments where how do you make a meal without any type of energy? And so you're seeing the massive lines at these places such as a McDonald's or a Burger King, right? Some of them still had power. I don't know if it was through generators or if power was restored, but these lines would be wrapping around the buildings just because nobody is able to make food at home. Or maybe they just don't want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because that doesn't require refrigeration, right? Or it doesn't require you to cook. Aside from the long lines of finding food, the other thing that I found interesting is just seeing all the damage that the hurricane did. I mean, there was tree branches all over the place, debris all over the place, big oak trees that were ripped from the ground. I mean, it's incredible to see the power of Mother Nature, to be quite honest. And one of the big issues that we have here in Florida, and I saw this in a couple places, is the flooding. I mean, there's nowhere for the water to go really, and so streets were flooded, parking lots were flooded. You can't drive your vehicles through that unless if you want to damage the vehicle. And so you just have to wait until the water gets drained somehow or it evaporates. And I think that's one of the major issues that I've seen here in Florida. Now, while we did experience a massive hurricane here, especially, again, a Category 2 where the winds were up to over 100 miles at some point. Thankfully, again, my family is safe. You know, I do want to take an opportunity to recognize that even though we do engineering, tech, and finances from a weekly basis and we talk about those topics and we always get back to you, this is a time of need for the people of Florida. And I recognize that my family is very privileged where we have the resources to get whatever we need and we will be okay. But more importantly, I want to do something nice for Floridians, and I want to make sure that us as a community and us as a tribe take that opportunity to acknowledge these people that are hurting and also as well be able to get back to them. So here's what I'm going to propose, and here's my ask to my community. There's going to be a link in the description where I'm going to open up a fundraising account. And in this fundraising account, we're going to see how much money we can raise within the next month. And I'm going to start off by putting in $200 of my own money. And again, guys, this is not something that you guys are obligated to do. I'm just putting it out there to see if anybody wants to give back. There's going to be an opportunity for you to go ahead and donate to the fund. Now, 100% of the proceeds is going to go to the American Red Cross, and that's going to be used for anything Hurricane Milton related. There's people out there that needs food. There's people out there that needs clothes. There's people out there that need water. Anything to help anybody out. I'm calling on my tribe to let's go ahead and show some support, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have basic needs, and we all have to look after each other. Again, this is going to be going to the American Red Cross. 100% of the profit's going to go there. I will not take a single penny out of that, and in fact, actually, I will kick it off by donating $200 of my own money and making sure that we provide relief to those who need it here in Florida. So again, guys, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for those who reached out and were wondering if I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay. My family's okay. We are doing phenomenal. Now it's time to, as a tribe and as a community, reach out to those who are less fortunate. And I'm really excited to see how far we get. I think we can make a dent and give an awesome contribution to the American Red Cross. And of course, after this week, we will go back to our regular scheduled programming, which is all about engineering, tech, and finances. So once again, guys, thank you so much. I really love you all. I appreciate you. Make sure you go ahead and give me a like for this video as it helps the channel grow. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel while turning on your notifications. That way you're notified whenever we upload new videos to the channel. Lastly, share this video with a family member or friend. I really love you guys, appreciate you, and I'll see you all in the next video.